Good afternoon, friends. How we doing today? I like it. I'm into it. Thumbs up. I'll take that. I say this with just love for great zooms and no judgment. If your camera can be on, awesome. If it can't, I still love you. It's okay. And throwing that out there. While we wait for a couple more people to jump on, this is our last Zoom before we get launched. So while we wait for people to jump on, I want to know who's got something great that they can report, bold related or non-bold related. What has happened in the last week? Give me good. Just don't go all at once though, guys. It gets so weird for me when you guys fight. Don't do that.
Hi, I'm
Go.
excited
Hi.
because I am going to be at the first Bolt. They asked me if I would go and help people sign up, and I'm so excited. I can't wait.
Oh, I'm so glad. Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
one of the things we'll talk about today too. Like there is no possible situation where there is too much leadership presence. So I'm glad you're going to be there and I'm glad you're excited and I love it. I'm going to make y'all give me at least one more. Give me anything good, happy, exciting, positive from the last week. Y'all can't be shy. It's been like 2 months of this. Come on,
I can say my goal
go
this
for
month
it.
before the end of the month was 50 full bold, 150 register, and we're at 54 full bold, 152 first steps. So guess
It's
I
almost like you checked the numbers recently.
like right before I jumped on or
Yeah,
something like that.
I like it. Yeah,
I know
guys,
those weren't the goals you had for us, but it was my goals and we passed them. So
well, oh, okay. Well, in fairness, like I also am going off your guys' goals. It doesn't matter though. Like what you guys have done so far is fantastic. You are technically the number two bold right now, except the number one bold is capped at 68 registrations. So you're going to be the biggest bold this August, which
okay.
doesn't necessarily do anything for you other than allow you to like feel good for a little bit and know that you did that. So thank you for sharing that. You guys have done great. And today is going to be super simple. Look, I want you to know where you all stand, number versus your own individual goals and number versus overall goal, just so we know what, because guys, we still have over a week. Like, I know it doesn't, like, we have some time. Okay. Then we're going to talk about absolute imperative best practices to make sure that our show rate is so good that we're going to hit our goal no matter what the first step number is. Okay. And then we'll just talk a little bit of logistics and then I'll get you back on your way to your days. Before we do any of that, it's interesting. Are any of you watching the Olympics at all when you're not working your 80,000 hours a week? Okay, we got some Olympic watchers. So like let's be honest, everybody loves to watch the gymnastics because it's like the most exciting, right? And so I was reading something today and I don't want to screw up facts, so I'm going to read it to you. I want you to think about this because I think it's really congruent to what you guys have been doing. So it's about Jordan Childs. So Jordan Childs was ready to quit gymnastics years ago. She had been passed over for big assignments year after year due to her lack of consistency. And the environment that she was in was super toxic. And most of the gymnastics community had written her off. She was, there's not a long lifespan for people like that. So, or shelf span, I should say. So, but Simone Biles came in and she saw something in her. So she reached out in 2019 and she invited Jordan to actually relocate from Washington State and move to Texas to join the gym that Simone actually owned, which was a safe space and a positive environment. All right, now you'll know why it's congruent. When Jordan arrived, the first thing they worked on had nothing to do with building her skills. It was instead building her confidence. And 2 years later, Simone and Jordan are headed to the Olympics together. So here's why I wanted to share it. You guys have worked your tail off, the numbers tell me. And we do have some more work to do over the next week. And I don't want you to stop when we're this close. And I need you to know that what you do is so worth it because selling houses and making more money and you guys making more money, all of that is super cool. Like we can enjoy that and be happy about that. the truth of the matter is I don't think that we often slow down long enough to realize the impact that we'll end up having on people's lives by getting them from what may for them be a toxic environment, mindset, business pattern, whatever it is, and getting them into something different. And it's funny because I saw that this morning and I was like, I'm going to share that story real quick today with them. And then I'm sitting at lunch earlier and I get a text. So all of the bold teams, I don't know if your past coaches have done this, all of the bold teams, once they're set, they go on a group text so they can communicate during the week. And I have them put me on the text. It's not to be creepy big brother. It's because it's accountability, right? Like I should be able to know what's going on. And a lot of them keep texting in perpetuity, which is blows my phone up. And yet I think it's really cool. And I have a bold that I did about a year ago and their text lit up. And this agent shared that she had just bought her dream car. And she'd shared that when she was in bold, she made a deal with herself that if next year she hit a certain level of production, that she would buy herself not only her dream car, this is the first new car. She's in her 50s, my friends. She's never owned a new car. Her current car has like 300,000 miles on it. It's 2012 Ford. She was not rolling deep. And she just went and paid cash for like an $80,000 fully loaded Lincoln. And she hit her goal. It's July 31st. So I just wanted to share both of those. I just felt like every once in a while we need to be reminded of why we're doing what we're doing. Goodness knows that I do sometimes. So thank you for everything you've done so far. Thank you in advance for putting in a little more work. I promise it won't be that bad. And then we're going to have a great time next week when we're together. So I want to go over numbers. There's no judgment. It's just numbers tell a story. And I want to make sure that you guys know where you are and know what you should do if you're still passionate about getting to your individual goals. Okay. So the first thing, Mary Hope already shared, we are at where is it? 152 first step, 54 full. That's amazing. If we were launching right now, based off averages, we'd hit 95. So I'm pretty confident that over the next week, our worst case scenario is that we're going to end up at least 100, which is super cool, guys. Like it's really, really good. Based off averages, which again are 60% show rate and 70% conversion. And I know that you guys shared that your last show rate was like 77%. And I hope and I pray that that's what happens again. And I would hate to rely on that and have 60% show up. So just be open to higher numbers, knowing that I'm going to give you some tools to make sure that we do have a better show rate. Okay. So assuming averages, we would need 60 more first step registrations, which I know might sound like a crazy number, except we're talking about the free one with free lunch. We're talking about one day, not 7 of them. It's not that hard. One thing that we are going to do today is we are texting every single registrant and asking them if they have a friend, whether it's with KW or without KW, that they'd like to bring. And if they let us know, we will get them registered. So we're doing some stuff on the back end. We did something like that last week as well. So we're working to help, and yet ultimately the efforts are going to come mostly from you guys. And then I want to go by market center. And again, I just want you to know where you are. What you do with it is totally up to you. Okay. Host market center 538. You are 76 first, 41 full. Now you gave this was, again, Maps doesn't know this goal, so you don't need to sweat. And yet your goal was 100 of your agents. That was like your perfect world. Okay. At averages, it would take 105 more first steps. I know that sounds crazy, and don't get caught in the crazy. It's just a number. Okay. That's assuming averages, not your 77% show rate. That would change it drastically. 463, you're at 22 first step, 1 full. Your goal was 60. That would be 119 more first steps. I know Mary Hope, don't have a heart attack. It's okay. We're going to get through it together. Again, it changes drastically depending on show rate. 183, you're at 11 first, 2 full. Your goal was 15. That would be 22 more first step. Super doable. 440, you are on the nose for your goal. Your goal was 15. You're at 31st, 4 full, which puts you exactly at 15. Throw a couple more people on there to make sure that you're good, and yet you're very, very close. And then market center 737, you're at 3 first step. Your goal was 15, 33 more, even with no fulls going in, it's going to get you to your goal. Okay. So those are the numbers. Does anybody have any questions about the numbers? I mean, they're kind of self-explanatory. And if you have a question, let me know. Nope. Okay. So we need butts in the seats. And I meant what I said in the email the other day. Like, if we have more people than seats, Mary Hope, I promise you, I will own that. No one's going to get mad at you. And the energy will be so good that if someone's standing against the wall, they won't care. I promise you. And I've been in this situation before. It's okay. So
And
trust me on that.
we also have a backup, of course, because Kim has backups.
Of course you have a backup. Of course you do. So we're going to be good. We want a great show rate. Because here's the truth of the matter. I know that you shared in that email that you would love to see a final number of 120 total fulls. We could get there with our current numbers if our show rate is like amazing. So let's keep adding people, and yet let's also make sure that our efforts are rewarded and people show up. So here's what I need you guys to do. We are going to send out a reminder. And yet for most of your people, you have to understand that I'm still stranger danger. Like most of your people don't really know me. They don't have a relationship with me. They don't care if they make me happy or make me sad, right? So we're sending out a reminder the day before. We always do. I'm gonna ask you guys to remind every single freaking person that is registered, and I would include your full bolds because I mentioned this before. You have people who have taken bold before years ago and are like, step one's a sales pitch. I'm gonna skip it. Step one now is content with 5 minutes before lunch goes to selling five. Like it's real content. So you're going to remind everybody. I don't care who makes the calls. It could be anybody on staff. You can split it up. I don't care. You got to call them the day before. If you call them the morning of, obviously it's too late. If you call them more than a day before, y'all, I'm a realtor. Anything I say that might be insulting to a realtor, I'm talking to myself. Y'all, they're so forgetful. You can't, it's got to be the day before. All right. And you're going to use guilt. We are not asking one single person if they're still going to make it to bold. That is not the script, okay? It's going to go something like this. I'm going to send out the recording. You don't need to write down every word, and it doesn't need to be word for word. This is just messaging, right? You know, hey, this is Hudson over at the office, and I just wanted to call and remind you that first step to bold is tomorrow. We've got you registered. We've saved your seat. We've paid for your lunch. And I just wanted to remind you, be there by 9 o'clock. Early is great so you can get a great seat. Here's the address, like any pertinent information, and then get off the phone. I don't want them to have time to talk. I don't want to have time for them to give excuses. I don't want to plant any doubt by saying, hey, are you still going to make it? Like that's poison. We are employing guilt. You are all mothers on that day saying, you know, we paid for your lunch. We rented the chair. Like they're going to show up I always know when my leadership has made the reminder call because we will have a sickeningly wonderful show rate if y'all make the call. If you say, I don't know, we're just so busy, we got to skip it, the show rate's it's gonna make you sad. So we're going to just remind everybody. I know it sounds like a lot. These are quick calls. And the great news is, since we don't really want their feedback anyways, if they don't answer, we're leaving them a voicemail with the same message. Like there's no time for checking in. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do. If you guys can just do that, I promise you we're going to have a great show rate. There's one other thing that you could do if you choose to. This is not mandatory. It is your business. It is your money or procurement of money. What some people do is they will offer a giveaway of some sort. It's probably got to be more than $10, and it also doesn't need to be 10,000. The idea is that if your presence is going to get you an entry to get something cool and or of value, usually more people will show up that might have just hit the snooze button that morning. So you guys can decide if you want to do anything like that. And yet, if you're going to do a giveaway, let me know what it is. And I will include it in my reminder text just so it's one more touch of like, hey, by the way, you could at least get something cool if you show up. Are there any questions about that reminder call or questions or ideas around doing some sort of giveaway? No, we're good?
I think we're good. For the first steppers that haven't registered, we still have one of the $100 off We've given away
Oh,
3.
okay.
So we have one more that we could do for the first steppers, that whoever shows up, because those are the people, you know, who haven't
Yeah,
put money in yet. So
I
we for
love
sure.
that. Cool. So yeah, just let me know what you guys can chat or what just let me know if you're doing something, exactly what it is, so I can include it in the messaging.
Okay.
As far as adding more people, this is totally broken record and y'all do 800 things a day. I'm just going to break the record anyways. Okay. Don't forget they can still apply for scholarships. Okay. And MAPS tends to have plenty of money to give away. So don't, if they meet those qualifications and they are at all interested, just get them to register to apply for the scholarship. I can't guarantee they'll get it, and yet it'll at least get them to step 1. And I'm not opposed to raising money in the room. I've done very well with that over the years. Like, if somebody wants to be there, I think I told you this probably on our first call, so we'll full circle this. Like, I'm not letting somebody not go over money. Now, it's one thing if you, as their leader, pull me aside and you're like, they're like a year behind when they're like, if they're the take type person, that's different. And yet I know you have people that truly need the hand up. So scholarships are still there, and we can also raise money in the room because there's some people who don't qualify for the scholarship and yet qualify for help. And I don't have a problem helping people like that. I will also be offering student loans. So anybody who can't pay the full but does want to be there and can pay as they go, what they'll do is they'll pay a certain amount down and then they'll pay weekly as they go. I'm waiting on the details because MAPS has changed the program a little bit. And yet I'll have that to share with the room at step 1 for anybody who's a little on the fence and just needs to maybe break up the payments. So we have that option as well. Don't stop with your recruits. You guys have gotten some signed up, which I love. And yet, guys, it's like shooting fish in a barrel. If you can just get them into that room, and a week is actually a pretty long runway for somebody who doesn't know you and hasn't been hearing about Bold for the last 2 months. So don't be afraid to go after more recruits. It creates great conversation and contribution in the room, just having different ideals, and you will convert them, and that's your job. So get us more recruits, and yeah, just don't be afraid to go back to some of those yellows on your roster and just say, "God, come on, just come to the first step. I won't pressure you, and P.S. I won't either." Like, I've got a great conversion rate, and it does not come from cornering people and being creepy. Like, if they're going to sign up, it's because they're inspired by the opportunity, not because I was in their face, nor you were in their face. Get them to first step. Get them rejuvenated. I don't care if they take the class or not. I care that they get something positive that puts them in the right direction if they're not currently in love with their life. So don't be afraid to go back to some of those yellows. Does anybody have questions about final push and getting other people into the room, or thoughts or ideas or anything?
I have logistics about your reminder. Does that have the
Yes.
address and such on it?
Yeah, no, we usually put the address.
Okay. And also,
So should we add, there's no suite number, but it's a floor, right?
it's the 5th floor, right, Kim? She's kind of
5th
frozen.
floor.
I think it's 5th floor. And there is, I'll send you the information on the parking as well, because there's
Okay,
a
great.
parking garage. And I'll get you the address for the parking garage. And that will be
Oh, perfect. Okay.
pre-validation. You know, like they'll give a validation at the building for the parking.
Yep.
Um,
Okay, great.
so I will send that over. And yeah.
Make sure when you do your reminders that you guys mention that as well. I know that like some of the other market centers, like that was the big question when they heard, I don't know your area at all. When they heard the location, they were like, oh God, parking. And so
Yep.
I think just the reminder that parking's not an issue, parking's not even a cost. Yeah, so that would be really, really great. And then the only other logistic thing for me, you are going to get an email, and you guys, I think it's tomorrow, there's a prep Zoom that somebody will be on. You're going to want to print out some of the first step packets. They're all going to get an email that tells them to print it out, and there's always a good number of people that don't print them out. So make sure that you print out some first step packets. They're not that big, it's not that crazy, and they can be black and white. They really don't need to be colored. Just for step one, if we can get in at 7:05, you don't all have to be there. And yet if one or two of you could be there and meet me at 7:45,
Yep.
we don't want any bugs at step one. After that, we'll just get in at 8, which I know still sounds early. The truth is there's a lot of setup and agents come early, and you don't ever want an agent beating us there. So 7:45 for step one, 8 for the rest of them. And then I'm going to lovingly beg, we need as many leadership folks as possible at step one, and we need a presence for every market center. What we're going to do is at first break, I am going to put you guys in groups before we go to break as a market center. And basically, you as leadership, and we'll talk about this next Thursday morning. Basically, you as leadership. Oh, one of you is not muted, whoever's
Kenny.
talking. Sorry. You're good. You're awesome. Just you're not muted. And apparently you don't have audio because you can't hear us telling you you're not muted. Okay. So that's okay.
Carmen's telling her. That's okay.
Oh, okay. It's fine. What we're going to do is before break, I'm going to say, okay, Market Center 538, you're going over here. I'm going to put y'all like in different corners of the room. You're going to have a really brief conversation. People that are registered are going to have that sticker on. Everybody else will not have the sticker. And you're not going to push people. You're going to have conversations. Why aren't you signed up? What's holding you back? Stuff like that. If one of the market centers doesn't have a leader, honestly, it doesn't look bad for me. It looks bad for the market center, and I don't want to do that to anybody. So I'll put that reminder in an email, and yet just make sure that there's at least a presence from all the 5 market centers that are participating. And yet, like, guys, there seriously can't be more, like, show up. I don't care what the role is. Honestly, I have had people close the market center for first step of bold. I mean, nobody's going to die. And in fact, it's a great reason to tell people, hey, you should be there anyways. Just make sure you've got a great leadership presence, because I'm not the only one who's going to convert that day. It's just impossible. Like, I can't have that many one-on-one conversations. So that's it. That's it. Are there any questions? Logistical, registrations, numbers, anything?
I don't think from here. I'll connect you with you, Hudson, on a few other things off this, but yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Thoughts. But yeah, no, we have a bunch of extra people for extra
Cool.
hands as well for setting up and things like that. So
I love it. I love it. Oh, and again, whoever is your coordinator, they're going to hear this tomorrow when they're on Zoom. And yet, just a reminder, we do want a bunch of paper registration forms there. I know that as an office, I know one of you doesn't like them. Bold's my day, so just say that I brought them. Here's the problem. It's not good when they're registering on the link. We've had so many issues. I know it's 2024 and I don't care. It's just that one day. It's so much better to do it by paper. Plus, we can keep track, because we're going to be working towards that goal of 120 that day. And if we do it on paper, and because I won't have any links on my PowerPoint, if we do it on paper, we know exactly where we stand throughout the day, and we don't have to pull up a link. We don't have to guess. We don't have to wonder if they errored out or anything like that. And on that note, by the way, last week there was an email sent out with incomplete registrations. If you didn't reach out to your people on that list, please do. They probably got stuck on something stupid like their Keller Williams ID. Those are easy conversions. So other than that, guys, I am super, super excited. We are going to have an exceptional day. We're going to have a great bold. If any leadership hasn't signed up and you still want to sign up, please do. One thing that I do that's different, just so I tell you now, so we don't get to step 2 and you're like, what is he doing? Have any of you as a leader ever taken bold and felt like you were just crazy distracted the whole time?
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. So we don't do leadership tables in my bold. Instead, we mix the leadership in with agents, and it's so you have a better experience if you're taking it. And I will tell you real quickly, the reason I started is because I had a longtime team leader in a bold I was doing in Boynton Beach, Florida. And she kind of asked part of the way through, she was like, I never get anything out of bold. can I sit with the agents? I said, sure. He came to me in tears at step 7. She's like, this is my 17th fold. I never took fold. She's like, I've never had it actually impact me. I've never done the work, but I was on an agent team, so I felt the need to. So then I started testing it and it just went really well. So if you're taking it as a leader, I just want to tell you now. And if you're super opposed to it, let me know and I'll talk you into it. And I'm going to mix you in with the agents. It's going to be a wonderful experience for you. So don't be afraid of it. I just want you to know that it's because I want you to have the best bold as well, not just your agents. So anything else? All right. I appreciate you. I'm so excited. I will be in New Hampshire for the first time in my life next Wednesday, and I look forward to seeing you all in person on Thursday. And if you need anything in the meantime, let me know. And don't be afraid. Like I've told you the whole time, you got somebody you're still trying to convert, send me to them. Send me their information. I'm all in. All right.
Great.
You
Thank
guys
you.
are wonderful. Have a great day. I'll send out the recording. Share it. Whoever is going to make your calls will need to hear the recording to know what the messaging of the call sounds like. Okay.
Yep.
You rock. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye.